Hi, Scott Orlin with Cinema-Magazin. There's a new TV series coming your way, and it is absolutely incredible. And one of those responsible for the amazing aptitude of this is Paul Mescal. The show is called Normal People. Paul, what is really kind of fascinating to me watching this is the duality of masculinity that your character, Connell, goes through. Talk a little bit about this intensely deep masculine guy, yet he's overtly sensitive.
Yeah, I think you're spot on in terms of like that's a central thing to playing Connell is that duality, and I think it's what Sally sets up on the from the outset to like as we get further into the story and into the book and into the series, the kind of internal workings of him, and I think she presents this kind of like an in inverted commas kind of jock archetype, but suddenly you start figuring out he's a guy who really relates to literature and has a problem with or has an issue with the societal values that are kind of pushed upon him because of his maybe physical aptitude with sport, or the fact that he's kind of back-footed and aloof, and suddenly that's a really attractive quality in a man versus somebody who's actually incredibly smart but has a real difficulty in terms of articulating the love that he feels for somebody else.
Speaking of sport, there's going to be a lot of people now around the world who are going to understand what Gaelic football is, who didn't know. You had the advantage of actually playing that when you were in your younger version of yourself. How much sense memory did you have when you had to go out and film those sequences?
Yeah, like that's kind of one of my secret joys of the whole show, is kind of getting to bring a sport that I grew up playing to a kind of audience, not only in Ireland but in the UK and in the US, and now to Europe and kind of globally. So it's definitely something that even when I kind of put that to the side and went along with the acting, it's something that I had and still do have a deep love for, and thankfully I wasn't too rusty when it came to filming the scenes.
For people who watch this show, and as much as they love it, there's going to be a frustration level about the art of communication. What
Yes.
insight did it give you about how you should communicate with people?
The insight it gave me is actually how difficult, efficient, and effective communication is, and how it's a skill that I would, a social and interpersonal skill that I would definitely have ranked in the top one or two. But it's also a really difficult thing because, of course, communication happens between two or more people. It's one thing to communicate with yourself, but it's a difficult thing because you've got other people's means of communication kind of clashing with yours. And I think with Connell and Marianne, that's a difficulty that they have, as is with a lot of people in the world. And I think it's refreshing, I think, to see people struggle with communication as much as it's frustrating. But I think it's something that is a really difficult thing to get right in real life as well. And I think that's yes, a frustration in the show, but also kind of a joy because it is something that's deeply human.
The show is called Normal People. And so let's look at the word normal, because
Mhm.
your life is about to become unnormal in a sense that you got to bask in relative obscurity. And
Mhm.
there's so much attention being paid. And I know with social media and with everything else, talk a little bit about that transition. And I know on Instagram you play music and you're actually trying to showcase that. In a strange way, is this show going to be able to allow you to kind of stretch out your artistic muscles?
Yeah, I hope so. And I think yeah, I think that the show is something that I'm incredibly proud of from a purely professional standpoint. And I think yeah, I think anything that you're proud of, you kind of hope allows you to continue working and like, because I obviously love being an actor. And if this has been received well, which I feel like it has, and that then allows the opportunity to work on projects that I really adore, like Normal People, I think fingers crossed that will allow my artistic muscles, to use that word, to really work and be used. But it's hard to know, like you know yourself, there's so many little moving parts to this whole industry, so it's just a matter of trying to stay calm, stay safe, stay sane, and focus on the script and the work and the characters.
Well, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. It's incredible. I'm just curious, who has more followers, you or your chain on Instagram?
I
Thank you,
think
Scott.
I'm
That's your time.
I think I'm still ahead of the chain.
Perfect. Paul, thank you so much. And this is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
See you later. Bye. Bye.